You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
You tuned in to G5 Jeff TV. I want you to put the cupcake down and press the subscribe button, press the bell icon, and press the like button. Let's get down to business. Anthony Joshua versus Alexander, CEO of the PED Boys, Povetkin. It's going down September 22nd, 2018. Now, before I get started, let me just put this out here. My opinions in this video are strictly from the perspective of how it looks in the United States. I know I have a lot of G5 Jeff TV family that's in the UK and in other countries. So my opinions in this video was strictly off of the feel and the vibe that's going on in the United States. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, this fight is for the heavyweight championship of the world. Anthony Joshua has 3 of the 4 major belts in the heavyweight division. In my eyes, Anthony Joshua is the top guy in the heavyweight division. There is no fight that Anthony Joshua should be in that should be under the radar. In the U.S., this fight is completely under the radar. When I say nobody's talking about this fight in the United States, nobody is talking about this fight in the United States. Now, as far as Alexander Povetkin as an opponent, nobody's paying him any mind because once the word got out that VADA was going to be doing the testing, we all knew as fight fans that Alexander Povetkin was going to have to keep the finest juices in the refrigerator. Couldn't use them because VADA was going to be doing the testing. So I don't think anybody thinks that Alexander Povetkin is an actual threat in this fight without his finest juices at his disposal. Now, Anthony Joshua, I think the reason why this fight is flying under the radar in the U.S. is strictly because Anthony Joshua lost the public of opinion battle with Deontay Wilder and the whole negotiation thing. And let me get into that a little bit more. In the U.S., it seems as if Anthony Joshua don't want no smoke with Deontay Wilder. In the U.S., there's a perception that Eddie Hearn doesn't want to put his cash cow, Anthony Joshua, in the ring with Deontay Wilder. That's the perception. And then also recently, when they announced this fight between Anthony Joshua and Alexander Povetkin, Gerald Big Baby Miller ran down on Anthony Joshua and got in his face on stage. So in the U.S., there's a perception that Anthony Joshua is not conducting himself like he's the baddest man on the planet. Just to make it simple. Again, I think that Anthony Joshua is the top heavyweight in the world. I think he's the best heavyweight in the world. He has 3 of the 4 belts. Him beating Vlad Klitschko, that's the best person on his resume and on Deontay Wilder's resume. Okay? But the perception is that Anthony Joshua is not walking around like he's the baddest man on the planet. But here in the States, there is a perception that Deontay Wilder is walking around like he's the baddest man on the planet. There is a perception that Deontay Wilder and his team, Al Heyman, Shelly Finkel, offered Anthony Joshua a substantial amount of money, and he turned it down. That's the perception here in the States. So let me give y'all a quick breakdown on how we do in the States. If a boxer is not conducting himself the way we feel he should, then a lot of times that boxer gets put on the back burner. We just stop talking about the boxer. We don't give them the attention that we would usually give that boxer. I'll give you a prime example. When people was pressuring Floyd Money Mayweather to fight Manny Pacquiao when they were both in their prime, in the States, we were still paying attention to Floyd Money Mayweather, but it wasn't as much because we didn't feel like Floyd Money Mayweather was conducting himself like he was the baddest man on the planet. Now, did Floyd Money Mayweather have a legitimate reason why he didn't want to fight Manny Pacquiao at the time? Absolutely, because Manny Pacquiao didn't want to do the testing. But the public perception, in terms of the general public, all they wanted to talk about was Floyd Money Mayweather and Pacquiao at that time. And Floyd Mayweather had to weather the storm until basically the fight was able to be made. But he did take a public hit during that time. This Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder situation, it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that. Anthony Joshua is going to have to ride this wave, ride this storm. He's taking a public hit in the States. Eddie Hearn is taking a public hit in the States. Even though I like what he's doing with the zone, he's doing something fresh, something new. But in terms of the Anthony Joshua Deontay Wilder fight, he is taking a public hit. So because of that, Anthony Joshua has a fight coming up against Alexander Povetkin, who is a quality opponent. I joke around about Alexander Povetkin all the time. All the time. I joke about him all the time. I say he got the finest juices in grape flavor, cherry, vanilla, chocolate. He got it in all flavors. But beside all that, he is a good fighter. Like, this is a good fight. I think Anthony Joshua wins it, but I think it's a good fight. And it should be talked about. But here in the States, it's like the vibe is basically, if Anthony Joshua ain't signing up to fight Deontay Wilder, then we don't give two fucks what he's doing. If Eddie Hearn ain't signing Anthony Joshua to fight Deontay Wilder, we don't give two fucks about what other cards that Eddie Hearn is putting on. That's the vibe in the States right now. So at the end of this video, I definitely want for you guys that are not in the United States to comment in the comment section and let me know, what is the vibe when it comes down to Anthony Joshua and Alexander Povetkin? Is it some buzz? Is it some hype around this fight? Because in the United States, there's just no buzz at all. And I think this is the after effects of the failed negotiations between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Now, here in the States, we're harsh. Like, we are harsh in terms of what we want. There's certain fights that we want, and like, we want it like tomorrow. Like Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, like, we want that fight tomorrow night at 8 o'clock sharp. At one point, Earl Spence, Keith Thurman. We wanted that fight ASAP. Right now we want Earl Spence, Sean Porter ASAP. There's just certain fights when we want them in the States, like we want them and we want them right now, and we gonna let you know about it until we get it. Like that whole Amir Khan, Kell Brook situation, like it's no way in hell that slides in the States. It's no way in hell that slides in the States. Like they would get harassed walking down the street talking about why that fight's not happening. Like they would have fought just off the strength of we tired of getting harassed in the States. It's no way we would have allowed that to happen in the States. So Anthony Joshua, I'm pretty sure he wants to cross over to the United States and make a name for himself. The goal of every athlete is to be a global star, not just in their country. They want to be a global star, a global icon. That's the goal of every elite athlete. So I'm pretty sure Anthony Joshua wants to cross over to the U.S. market and take over the U.S. market as well as he's done with the U.K. market. But our demands over here is high, extremely high. And if you want some bullshit, we gonna let you know about it. And the perception here is that Anthony Joshua, when it comes down to Deontay Wilder, is on some bullshit. When it comes down to Eddie Hearn, there's a perception that Eddie Hearn is on that bullshit. He's trying to get as many fights for Anthony Joshua as possible before he puts him in the ring with Deontay Wilder. That's the perception here. And if that's not the perception where you're at, cool. Let me know, and you let me know what is the perception of Anthony Joshua where you're currently resting your head at. Because here, it just seemed like Eddie Hearn is going to put him up against Alexander Povetkin. Then he's going to put him up against Dillian White. Then he's probably going to put him up against another mandatory. Eddie Hearn's going to try to put as many roadblocks in front of Deontay Wilder as possible. That's the way it looks. It's not about whether I'm an Anthony Joshua fan more than a Deontay Wilder fan and vice versa. I'm going off of how it looks. And I don't care who would win that fight. I just want to see it as a boxing fan. Everybody wants to see that fight. But if it's bullshit going on, we're going to tell you that it's bullshit going on. And over here on G5 Jeff TV, I don't do anything any different. If I see some bullshit, I'm calling it at the end of the day. Now, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Please let me know, is this hype, is this fight getting any buzz where you're at right now? G5 Jeff TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this video, support your boy. Support good content at all times. I appreciate y'all. Peace.